Good morning. This should be the breakfast with Matt, but well, I'm not having breakfast today anyways. Still have to go to the supermarket. Well, my purpose to start this like video login is to log as to register my ideas and feelings and things that go on with me in hope that it could help and also to be helped. Maybe to listen to someone's advice on the comments or something like that. Through a series of videos that I haven't planned, I'm just thinking about them because it probably won't fit on just a single video. I will expose my story and bring reflection upon it in the end. So basically, I'm Matt from Brazil. Yeah, kind of, Brazil, full of greens, the woods, and this kind of stuff. Birds are singing, sun is burning. It's like almost 7:30 in the morning and it's burning already. Like that's summer. I'm recording this from a small town in Rio de Janeiro state, province, whatever you feel better calling it, but actually it's a state. And everything started when I decided to go to China some 3 years ago. It was 24th of August 24th of August of 2015 that I landed in Shanghai, China. And this whole journey started. I actually started before, but for the purpose of this initial videos, it's gonna be about China and about someone that used to be my partner and how she, even now that we don't talk anymore, we lost contact, still influences me in a good way. Okay, so I went to China. I was there for some kind of exchange student program from the Brazilian federal government. It was a 2-year program. I would study Chinese for 1 year and go to the university on the second year. And I went to Wuhan. Wuhan, it's in the Hubei province. Good city. I like there pretty much. It's fun. You get the real China feeling that you wouldn't get anywhere else. You probably would. It's pretty cool, the Chinese experience, because if you go to a big city like Shanghai, Beijing, it's how can I say? It's a little bit too international. But the good point is, at least in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen also, I never lived in Guangzhou, but I lived in these 3 cities. Shanghai just for a short period of time, like 2 months, kind of. They don't take pictures with you in the street, but if you go to a small town, pretty small town, I don't know other people, but sometimes I feel like I'm an animal in the zoo, because they just come to you and take pictures and they don't ask, your permission to take picture with you. You just stand by your side and wow, new picture. And like, my God. Sometimes I got angry with that. Sometimes I was like, whatever. If they approach you nicely, like, of course. But the people who approach you nicely are like, to be polite, just a few. But it's nice. People are nice in general. They're cool. They're considerate. I had the chance to go through some experience that people were actually very considerate, and also some experience that I'm afraid to share because, well, I still have a valid visa to China, and I would like to go there for like many years to come. So I don't want to blow up my chances to go back to China. But yeah, I saw some um, revealing stuff, let's say. Yeah, like you wouldn't expect that from China because they say they are polite and what else? They control themselves and blah blah blah. And I'm like, all right. But well, like any other human in any other place in the world, it's like, not really. They're the normal people. They're like the extremes of all that. And I think I saw like a little bit close to an extreme of one of those like nuances. Anyway, so I was in Wuhan for 1 year, then I went to Beijing for another year, and when I was in Beijing, I moved to Beijing in I think August of 2016, and while I was in Beijing, I met quite a few people. I was going out with a girl from Inner Mongolia. She was a doctor. She's Chinese. She's not a minority. And how can I put this way? This doctor was not so serious about like a relationship, neither I. So we were both okay, just going out and stuff. And at some point I opened a profile on OkCupid. By the way, good technology. I really appreciate the questionnaire that OkCupid offers. I mean, some questions are kind of weird. They're strange. It makes you think. But on the other hand, when you find someone else's profile, you see that if they answer the questions, here you go. Answer the questions on OkCupid, please, because if you don't, make things harder. So if you answer the questions on OkCupid, it makes pretty easier to match someone. So at the time, I met with a girl using a nickname called Seventina, like Seventina, like that's a different nickname. I wonder what that means. And we were talking, and it was nice. She was like brilliant. She's like extremely intelligent. And it was fun, As they say, intelligence is an aphrodisiac. And it is. Like, I mean, I think the more intelligent the other person is, the more sophisticated jokes you can present at the moment you're talking to this person. It's pretty cool. And well, anyway, we start talking, and then we decided to meet. And at the time, the only thing I actually, honestly, now looking many months and like a year or 2 years later, I can say is I was actually looking for a intimate relationship, not actually like dating someone, like a real relationship. But at the time, I kind of mixed both. Like, okay, well, if we have a relationship, we'll have eventually the intimate relationship, which is like the more important one. And that's what I thought. And that was my MO, my operation mode, right? Modus operandis, something like that. This was how I usually would do my things. Anyway, so we start talking, and she sent me a picture, and like her cheekbones were like very pronounced, like pretty. How can I say? You can see my cheekbones, but like they're like kind of not not so apparent. But like hers were like really apparent, and her face was flat because she's Asian and she's Mongolian. She was a minority. She was, oh yeah, forgot to mention that. She was a minority from China. She was Mongolian. And so the Asian face is a little bit more flat compared to like Middle Eastern white people or black people. And I think that's beautiful. Beautiful. I love Asian face. Asian women have the most beautiful faces possible in the world. Few exceptions to white people. Um, and we were talking, and she sent me a picture, and her cheekbones were like very pronounced, and I was like, beautiful. But her cheek was like kind of fat, and I'm like, okay, this girl must be a little bit chubby. Then we scheduled. She would go sleep on my place, and she went to. I lived in Beijing at the time on a place called Haidian district, on an area called Liudaokou. Liudaokao. Oh, Kou. Kou. Liudaokou. And she would come from Xizhimen. I think it's Xizhimen or Dongzhimen. Dongzhimen. I think it's Xizhimen that she was living with another Mongolian friend of hers. And she went there. We kind of lost. I told her to wait somewhere or come somewhere. I don't remember exactly. And we end up like just meeting on the supermarket near my apartment. And it was nice because I had a motorbike at the time, and I went there with my motorbike, and I was on WeChat, because in China we use WeChat. I was talking to this girl, and like I couldn't find her, and then wow, she found me, and like, oh, are you Matt? And I'm like, yeah. And I look at her, like she's so different from the picture, and my reaction was like, oh, you're. Should I say her name? Okay, yeah. Anyway, you're that person, and you're that person, right? And she's like, yeah. Is that okay? And I'm like, yeah, 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 yeah. And I'm thinking to myself, oh my god, she's so different from the picture. And actually, the picture doesn't make any justice to her, like, because on real, like face to face, she's like amazingly much more beautiful. I mean, you guys can't imagine, like the picture just doesn't make any justice to her. She's cute in the picture, but like, man, face to face, she's a diva. I mean, she's beautiful. And I think my reaction wasn't good. The way I reacted was like, oh, that's you? Instead of, oh my god, you're so much more beautiful. Yeah, I've learned this after thinking through this thousands of times. Even when we were together, because we lived together, it was amazing because sometimes she would bring that up and like, yeah, because you didn't think I was beautiful at the first time. And I was like, what? No, you didn't understand. Like, you were fucking beautiful. It's just that the picture you sent me was like totally, totally different. Like, didn't make any justice to you. And well, we went to my place and we were talking, and like for some reason I don't remember, we were going to cook, and it was fun. Today I think it's fun. Today I think it was fun, but like at the time I was like shocked because this girl, she was beautiful and she was in my place, and she was like, "Yeah, I'm independent. I'm independent." Like she was always repeating this mantra, like "I'm independent," and I'm like, "Okay, wow, that's powerful." And she's Mongolian, and like, and I have a really like stereotype of Mongolians, like beautiful people, awesome, great culture, strong people. They have to live in the wild, like they're nomads. I mean, like, come on, how come these people are not strong? They have to survive through everything alone in the middle of nowhere. Like, these people are definitely independent. And I was thinking, oh, okay, she wants me to, know that she's independent. Okay, I got it after the third time. But after the third time, it kind of was like embarrassing because it was starting to be like, okay, I know you're already independent. I got it. But I couldn't say that, and I didn't know the best way to say that. And we were talking, and she was like from like this higher, like not exactly snob position, but she was like kind of distancing herself. And I'm like, okay, I'll just be like humble and like try to, talk as much as I can, try to ask as much as I can to know this girl. And she's like, I don't know. If you ever met a person that is extremely beautiful and you feel kind of like embarrassed because you don't feel that you deserve this person, you know what I mean. If you don't, well, okay, imagine this. Imagine there's a place or a situation or a party or a group of people that you think they're way up higher than you. And if you meet them, or if you go to their party, or if you go to their like meeting, like their social gatherings, you feel totally embarrassed because you admire them, but you don't feel that you fit in. You don't feel that they would actually connect with you because you feel like way lower. Yeah, this might be like a self-esteem problem, but anyway, it's just what I felt at the time. And then she she went to cook. I invited her to cook. She cooked. While she was cooking, she said, "Okay, let's cook a soup." And I was like, "Okay, how do you do?" And she's like, "Okay, what do you have?" I'm like, "Oh, I think I have tomatoes, potatoes, and some chicken breast." And she was like, "Ah, okay." Then she was like peeling the tomatoes, and I was like, "Okay, who peels the tomato?" Like, I usually don't. I would peel the tomatoes to do like tomato sauce, but okay. Like, why do you peel the tomatoes? Oh, because the tomato peel like has some chemical products. Like in China, they use a lot of chemicals for growing food and stuff. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense. Same goes to the potato peels, and everything was fine. She was chopping and putting on the pan full of water, and then comes the chicken breast. She chops the chicken breast on small chunks, put in the pan with the water, kind of broth now, and I say, "Don't you need like a pinch of salt or something?" And she's like, "No, no, no. Like the chicken already has like salt in it." And I'm like, "All right, but is it enough? I mean, like a pinch of salt could, help like bring up the flavor." And no, 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 no. You don't need it. And I'm like, all right. She ends up cooking. We take the pan, put on a small like bowl. We go to my room to eat, and man, it's like unsalted. And I'm like, oh, sorry, for me, it's like I need a little bit of salt. What about you? And she's like, yeah, I think there was like not enough salt in this chicken. It was fun. It was cute. It was pretty cute. Then after that, we were like talking and talking, trying to know each other. I don't remember much about that because it was like almost 2 years ago. And I know that we start kissing and like we start doing that kind of stuff, intimate. And it was embarrassing because she was like, "Oh my God, you don't get like an erection and you don't like me. You don't think I'm pretty. I'm not pretty. Like you don't like me. You don't like me." And she was repeating that constantly, and I was getting embarrassed, and like I was losing all the kind of excitement that I had. And by the way, she was not chubby. Her body was like perfect. She was extremely slim and full of curves. She was really beautiful. I mean, I don't have words to describe. She was really beautiful. And like somehow I had an erection. We had a relation. We had sex. And she slept there. Anyway, oh, before that, like we had sex and then I we finished and then we were hugging each other for a few minutes for quite some time. Then I just sit on the bed and I say, okay, now I need to go to the bathroom. Out of a sudden, she jumps from the bed to the floor and start getting dressed. And I'm like, what's happening? What are you doing? And she's like, I'm leaving. And I'm like, why? And she's like, you told me to get out of the room. And I'm like, what? No, I'm going to the bathroom. I am going to the bathroom. I need to, clean myself. And she's like, oh, you don't want me to leave? And I'm like, of course not. I want you to stay. I liked you. I really liked you. Like, if I didn't like you, I wouldn't have done anything with you. I mean, please stay. Like, sleep here. And she slept there. And this was around Christmas or like some weeks before Christmas of 2016 to 2017. And time goes by. We keep talking, and we met some other times. I went, and she had this idea that I couldn't go to her place because she lived with another girl, even if the other girl was not there, like just to visit, because she's like, oh my God, I don't like the place that I live. The place that I live is so old and ugly. It's like old, it's bad, it's old. And I'm like, what does that mean? And finally, I had the chance to go there. The other Mongolian girl, Aruhan, that name I can say. Aruhan was not there, so me and that girl that I cannot say her name. But her name means 70 in Mongolian. So try to figure out. So I'll just call her 70. Weird, but it's her name in Mongolian. Because Mongolian names, they're whole different logic from what we give name to people. They give names on a different basis. It's fascinating, but it's just like weird to call someone ugly feet or whatever. Hey, ugly feet, come here. Oh, that's a nickname. No, that's actually his name. Hey, yeah. But her name is 70. That's why. Oh, that's why her nickname was Seventina. Yeah, that's why. And usually her email or stuff is like 70 something, like because of her name in Mongolian. So 70 and I went to her place, and it was fascinating because actually the place was not old. It was old, of course, but like when people say old, I myself imagine that it's like almost falling apart, like my dad's container house. Like he put like some sheets of plastic sheets here, and it's like it needs to be fixed. It's like falling and like. Then we went to that place where she was living with Aruhan, and it was okay. It was clean. It was fine. The paints on the wall were not peeling, so it was totally fine. And she was like, "Oh, this place is old. This place is bad," and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "Come on, you joking? I mean, this place is totally fine. The only problem is like there's no elevator, and it's on the 6th or 7th floor. That's the only problem. But the rest is fine. Come on, it's totally fine." And we start to go out, and we went to her place, and it was nice because she went to take a shower. She went to take a shower. I was like kind of laying on their bed, and I was looking to everything. It was so tidy and organized. I mean, it's neat. She's really organized. And then she was going to leave a kind of a message to Aruhan, because they're both Mongolians. In China, they write the Mongolian traditional script, which is a vertical one. If you put like on horizontal, it looks like a Arabic, because it was actually based on like a Uyghur script, which was based on Arabic. Yeah, so it's kind of, let's say, indirectly based on Arabic, the Mongolian vertical script. So she wrote that to Aruhan, and I was like, oh my god, that's so fascinating, because I saw before on some temples when I was traveling through Inner Mongolia, and I was talking to a monk, and he told me that, oh, this book is in Mongolian. He showed me like everything's like this. There are no like horizontal lines. I'm like, how do you read this? And he's like, oh, I read like this, from left to right, from top to bottom. And I'm like, wow, that's mind-blowing. Like, you could actually read something on vertical. Not just Chinese. Sometimes Chinese is vertical, but like most of the time it's horizontal. And this script's like vertical all the time. And I'm like, wow, that's mind-blowing. And like many months later, I meet this girl, and like we were hanging out, and one day I go to her place, and like she's writing a note to her like a friend in that script, and I see that script live, being used, and I'm like, fascinating. And it was pretty cool, because actually I found Mongolia and Mongolian culture fascinating way before going to China. Actually, I never thought I was going to China, but like just happened. And it was amazing, because now I was near Japan, which I found like interesting. Japanese food is really good. Not sushi, sashimi, not that. And there's something. And I did train judo for 7 years. Mongolia was fascinating for me for many years before going to China, ever imagining going to China. So I was there in Asia, in Beijing, which is like the epicenter of all this. It was amazing. And every moment with her was fascinating, because she's so bright, so intelligent, and so sensible. She's an amazing girl. But like everyone has problems, like me also. I'm imperfect. Really imperfect. I have lots of flaws. So anyway, on the New Year's of 2016 to 2017, We were together, and we were riding my motorcycle through Beijing Haidian district near the Olympic, not village, the Olympic place where they had the stadium, the bird nest, and everything. It was like amazing, amazing, amazing. It is unforgettable. It was just amazing. During the day, we went to a place 2 blocks down the road, down the avenue that I used to live, to buy some fireworks. It was amazing at night. I don't know where the videos from that night went to. I have to find, but they were amazing. And this was the beginning. This was the beginning. Then she decided that she was going to travel. If I'm not wrong, if my memory doesn't fail me, uh, 70 and Arohan, they were going to return the apartment for the landlord because the rent is gonna come due in a few weeks or months. So 70 said, okay, I don't like my job. I don't like China because she's a minority and minorities in China. Sensitive topic. Sensitive topic. And I'm like, okay. And she's like, oh, I'm going to travel already, plan everything. I'm going to Southeast Asia because I want to see the beach. I want to learn how to dive, scuba dive, and etc. And I'm like, fuck. I barely met this girl and she's already leaving. That's so heartbreaking. Then she actually traveled, and while she was in Southeast Asia, we were talking, and she was always complaining, like, "Oh my God, now my money is going. I don't have any other money source, income source. Um, I'm going back to Beijing. China is very expensive. Living cost in China is very expensive, especially in Beijing, Shanghai, Shenzhen, like especially Beijing, Shanghai, like it's really expensive to live there, to rent a place. It's like outrageously expensive. Like the house prices in China are goddamn it artificial. It's like speculation, like 10,000% speculation, because the houses in China is still built with concrete, which are not that expensive. It's not that much expensive than in Brazil or like USA or like Dubai. But the house prices there are like outrageously expensive. Even the old places with like 10, 20, 30 years old kind of building or compounds like condominiums, like because the new ones, the prices are high, are increasing, like the old ones are also increasing because like there's a huge demand to buy real estate as an investment, because in China I don't understand the market. If you don't have other investment options, or the other investment options are not as safe, who knows, I don't know. But it's outrageous because they only invest on real estate, which makes life hard to everyone else that is just an average person. But anyway, not gonna get into that. And she was always complaining about that, and like she would have to go back and she would have to find a job, find a place to live, and she doesn't have money and it's gonna be hard. And I was thinking to myself, well, she could live with me here for a month or so. That'll be fine, I think. Then I told her, you could live here for a while until you find a job and find a place to live and move out. It will be totally fine. Like, you just come live with me for some time, find a job, and you move to another place, a place that you like. And she was like, really? And I'm like, yeah, come on. Like, we're kind of together. I mean, like, why not? Then comes the day that she was, low battery. Then comes the day that she was come back from, I think, Cambodia or Thailand, fly back to Beijing, and I'm like, oh my god, it's happening. So I just cleaned my room, tried to organize, but man, I'm really not organized. And I have so many stuff. I have so many stuff. It's a shame. It's a shame. I have so many stuff. I see and like, oh, maybe I can use this in the future. I just buy. And I accumulate a lot of stuff. I'm an accumulator. It's like a shame. It's horrible. Don't do that. If you have a lot of stuff in your life, rethink. Then she came back and everything that she had was in a backpack and still had like a one luggage in her friend's place, Aruhan. Aruhan didn't return the apartment yet. And she went there to pick up the luggage, and I was like, man, I went there with her. I remember that day, not so clear, but I remember going there to help her pick up the luggage. I was waiting outside because it's a messy story about Aruhan. She tried to introduce me Aruhan because she thought she was not good for me. Then we kind of planned that I would meet accidentally Aruhan in a Mongolian band gig in a small bar in a hutong. It was a beautiful place, beautiful night. It was winter. I love winter. And when I got in the bar, I was late. When I actually arrived in the bar, it was almost going to the end of the how do you say? It was like in the end of the gig, and I was looking this girl 70 and her friend. They were dancing, and Mongolians dance with the shoulders. And man, was that day that I thought, man, this is the woman of my life. She's so beautiful. She's so charming. Her smile, her like, celebrating the culture, listening to Mongolian music and the morunghur, in Chinese they call matouqing, like I don't know the name of that in English. It's like a Mongolian kind of violin, not exactly violin, like the Mongolian like string instrument with like two strings and like a bowl. And I'm like, you know what? I don't want her friend. Like she wants to introduce me her friend because she thinks that her friend deserves me and I deserve her friend, but like I don't deserve her. Like she's not good enough for me, something like that. And I'm like, from that moment on, what the fuck I'm doing? Like this is so stupid. Like I'm already with her. Like why the fuck I have to meet her friend? Like no. You know what? This is fucking mental. No. No. Totally wrong. Then we left this place and we crossed some area and we went to Gulo Hutong, the Drum Tower Hutong, near Shichahai subway station. They had a bar called Dada. It's like a kind of like underground bar. She loved to go to that place because on the top floor they had a bar called Temple Bar where many Mongolian bands would present there, would have a gig there. And she's a proud Mongolian, which, man, was so fascinating. She taught me so many stuff. And that's how I realized that, she's the one. When I saw her dancing and smiling and like, enjoying the music, I mean, like, this woman is so beautiful. And this was before she went to Southeast Asia. Anyway. And yeah, then she moved to my place. We lived together, and I was not going to classes at that time, so I was staying the whole day at home doing nothing. I would go out to eat, go out to the supermarket to get some groceries and this kind of stuff. And I was like 10,000% irresponsible, not doing anything.
I didn't find I didn't try to find like a part-time job like other people did, like Andre did. Andre was another guy from the same scholarship. He found a job and he was working in this company. Like, yeah, I was like, yeah, I just have this scholarship. I'll just like relax here all day. I didn't know at the time, but like I was depressed. Uh, it's great that we can go back in time and just remember and like, oh fuck yeah, at the time I was actually depressed. That's why this was happening. Anyway, and she kind of like got into my routine. Like she didn't actually start to look for a job or a place. We were just like staying on bed the whole day, going out, having some rides, and living like a kind of like honeymoon stuff. But I lived in an apartment that I shared with a Colombian guy and a girl from Mauritania, a black girl from Mauritania, who, my God, used to smoke weed a lot. And it was scary because she would bring over some like really big dudes and a lot of people to make like parties at 2 a.m. Sometimes she would start really late at night, go until like 11 in the morning, like straight partying, like at home in the living room. And I was like, fuck, we want to sleep. Could you, like, lower the volume or like realize that you're actually wrong? You're at home, you share the apartment and not do the party. Get these people out of the apartment. I mean, it's totally inconvenient. And things got bad, like the relationship with the people I shared the apartment and me and my girlfriend were like deteriorating, and we just moved out to another place nearby in Udauko. Udauko, it's famous for the many students, universities, and blah blah blah. And it was in Udauko that actually our life together really flourished, or not, because that's a talk for another chapter or another episode. It's already like 42 minutes. I think that I'm really confusing. I don't know how to put my ideas in order. So maybe if you're watching this video until now, congratulations, you're a hero, because I know it's hard to listen to myself. Because I just sound like my dad, which is annoying to me sometimes because he just rounds and rounds and rounds the conversation. Uh, so yeah, that's it. See you on the next kind of episode. I'll try to increase my synthesis power.